Morning. So good morning, everyone. 11. Let me get a date, please.
Christiana Berlin on
Miss Smith, let me get your appearance.
Alicia Smith on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
All right, thank you very much. Start this morning with Anthony.
Come right over here.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Anthony Barham.
All right, Mr. Barham, we're here on 4 counts. Count 1 is possession of a controlled substance. Count 2, possession or use of drugs. Count 3, resisting arrest without violence. Evidence finds that there is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, sir. I'm going to give you a bond as follows. Count 1, $2,500. Count 2, $500. Count 3, $500. Count 4, $1,000. I'm not going to take any action on another case number 2021 MM160.
Sir, there's no.
Hang on, sir. I don't want you to say anything.
There's no chance I can get ROR.
No,
sir.
On the case that you're already out on bond on, so have a seat.
Thank you, sir. Lorenzo George.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, could you state your full name for the record, please?
Yes, sir. Lorenzo Torres George.
All right, Mr. George, we're here on a warrant for your failure to appear. Court finds there is probable cause. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you to the extent they have not already done so. Case number 2021 CT719. Stay the bond at 0. Thank you, sir. Christina Mendoza.
She's in medical. Can we reset her, Judge?
We can. Charles Pearson.
And Judge, I do have a probable cause argument if you're inclined to find PCS to the trespass.
I don't have a trespass charge for him, counsel.
Or failure to leave, I guess.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and hear your PC. Well, actually, first, Mr. Pearson, can you state your full name for the record for me, sir?
Charles Pearson.
All right, counsel, go ahead.
Yes, Judge. The police report kind of goes back and forth, but there's nothing that ever indicates that he was asked to leave. It pretty much most of the encounter is law enforcement's encounter with him and actions towards him. While Tito, the alleged victim, talks about a battery, he doesn't really talk about ever asking him to leave. He just kind of makes the conclusory statement that he didn't give him permission to fail to leave the property when requested, but there's no actual allegations of him being asked to leave the property.
Let me hear from Ms. Berlin.
They request 24 hours to gather additional information from the law enforcement officers.
With to that count only?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Smith, any objection to a reset on that count only?
No, Judge, he otherwise has bond, so no objection.
Okay, all right. We'll give you a 24-hour reset on count. Sir, there's been 2 counts that have been brought against you. Count 1 is battery and resisting arrest without violence. The court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. It's going to be a 24-hour reset on your charge by failing to leave the property. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond is to count 1 and 3, $500 for each count. Thank you, sir.
You can have it.
Jose Rodriguez Rivera.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your full name for the record for me?
Jose Rodriguez Rivera.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez Rivera, we're here on 2 cases. Your first case is a charge for resisting arrest without violence. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and you will be released in pretrial release in that case. For your second case, sir, there's been 4 counts brought against you. Count 1, fleeing, disregarding the safety. Count 2, operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. Count 3, operating a motorcycle without a license. Count 4, no motor vehicle registration. Court finds that there is probable cause for each of those 4 counts.
Judge, I do have a probable cause argument as to the second case.
Okay, go ahead, counsel.
In terms of the operating the motor vehicle, essentially the no valid and without a license are essentially the same charge. So defense would argue that there's only probable cause as to one, the other one should be an ROR. As to the no vehicle registration, the police report mentions the bike is a 125cc. I believe only a 250cc is what has to actually be registered. So defense would argue that there's no probable cause as to the no vehicle registration charge.
Okay, let's talk about the no vehicle registration charge. Ms. Berlin? Counsel's correct, the motorcycle is reflected as a 125cc.
Your Honor, I have no objection.
Okay, all right, so we'll, as to either?
As to either.
Okay, all right, so the court will ROR is to counts 2 and 4. With regards to counts 1 and 3, we'll appoint the public defender, and he'll be, Mr. Rodriguez Rivera will be released on PTR.
You can have a seat.
Thank you, sir. Walter Smith?
He said he'll be released to PTR. So 1 and 3 are PTR.
Sir, good afternoon. Could you state your name?
Walter Ray Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, we're on 2 counts of a possession of weapon or a firearm by a convicted felon. The court's reviewed the charging affidavit and finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you and give you a bond at $4,000 for each count. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, will you be taking any action on the case he's out on ROR for?
No, sir, I'm not going to take any action on 2020 CF0. Robert Ramos Bruno.
He refused, Judge. I can stand in and appear on his behalf. I don't know if it's a medical, I know we reset him from yesterday, so I don't know if it's a clear refusal or if it's like a medical reset. So if the court wants to proceed with initial appearance since he was reset from yesterday, I'm okay with standing in on his behalf.
Any objection with proceeding, Ms. Berlin?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to go ahead and proceed then. Thank you, Ms. Smith. I appreciate that. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit for 5 counts. Count 1, possession of cocaine. Count 2, possession of controlled substance without a prescription, fentanyl. Count 3, possession of controlled substance without a prescription, methamphetamines. Count 4, possession of use of drug paraphernalia. And count 5, false name or ID by an arrestee. The court finds that there is probable cause for both of those counts. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Ramos Bruno. I'm going to give bonds as follows. Counts 1, 2, and 3. As to counts 4 and 5, $1,000 each. And I'm going to revoke the bond in 2021 CF 866.
What was that case number, Judge?
I'm sorry, say again, counsel?
What was the case number that you revoked the bond on?
Yes, ma'am. Give me a second.
If we weren't appointed, can we be appointed as well?
CF 866.
If we weren't appointed on that one, can we be appointed as well?
Sure.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. Elwood Smith.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good morning. Could you state your full name for the record for me, please?
I'm Elvis Slater Smith, sir.
All right, sir. We're here on a charge of retail petty theft. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, sir. We'll release you today with an admonition to not return to the Shell gas station located 901 East Vine Street.
Yes, so, real question, sir. You are going to release me today?
Yes, sir. You'll be released on pretrial release.
I didn't hear what you just said. I was interrupted.
PTR with no return.
With no return, and is it possible at all that I could get a bus pass? I'm homeless at this point until I get to my sister's to where I can just...
You're going to have to talk to Miss Smith down there, sir. I can't do anything about that for you right now.
And talk to who?
Sir, the woman right there to your right.
To you?
Yeah, have a seat.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you. Miss Smith, anything else?
No, Judge, that is all. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, very good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You too.
All right, we're now on the record beginning our Orange County initial appearances. Let me get appearances for the Public Defender's Office for these proceedings.
Devin Nixon for the Public Defender's
All right,
Office.
thank you, counsel. All right, let's start with Jose Gonzalez Monjaret, case number, what, Spanish? Do we have our interpreter here, or do I need to dial him in?
Did I hear right?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has not been sworn.
All right, we'll take care of that this morning, Ms. Britannia. Thank you.
Do you swear to translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English testimonies given?
Yes, I do, to the best of my abilities. Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter.
All right, thank you. All right, Jose Danilo Gonzalez Monjaret. Sir, could you please state your name for the record for me?
Jose Danilo González Majares.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez Monjaret, we're here on case number 21MM2479 on account of battery. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit, finds there is probable cause for that charge. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Give you a bond of $2,500. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain separate residences. Not return to the residence located at 4306 Silver Star Road. You can have a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any personal effects. All right, thank you, sir. Next case is Leonel Ramirez Montejo, case number 21MM2482. Sir, could you state your full name for the record, please?
Okay. Leonel Ramirez.
Maldonado Ramirez.
All right, Mr. Ramirez, we're here on a sole count of battery. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. It finds there is probable cause for that charge. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are to have no contact with the victim, Araceli Castillo in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to return to the residence.
Okay.
And I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any personal effects. All right, thank you, sir.
How much is the bond? How much is the bond?
2,500.
Oh, is that what's been bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thanks.
Francisco Herreraus. Sir, could you state your full name for the record for me?
Francisco Herrera Arau.
All right, Mr. Herrera.
Francisco Herrera Arau.
All right, Mr. Herrera. We're here on an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County. Court finds that there is probable cause for that warrant. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. Because it's an out-of-county warrant, they have 24 hours to come pick you up, not including weekends or holidays. If you're not picked up by Seminole County by tomorrow, you'll be brought before a judge on Tuesday. There's a bond on that? Well, there is a bond. Sir, there's a bond on that of $25,000. If that $25,000 bond is paid, you can be released. If that's not paid, you will be hopefully picked up by Seminole County on Monday. If not, you'll still be brought before a judge on Tuesday if you're not picked up. Thank you, sir.
¿Dónde se paga la fianza?
Where can I go pay the bond?
You want to have a conversation with him real quick, counsel?
I can't have a conversation with him. He's a
Oh.
Spanish speaker.
Yes, that is true. Madam Interpreter, advise Mr. Herrera-Rose that he can contact the bail bondsman in order to pay that bond.
Señor, para pagar la fianza, usted podrá ponerse en comunicación con un fiador.
No lo escuché.
I couldn't hear you. May I repeat?
Yes.
Sí, ahora sí. Ok. Yo tengo una familia que me va a pagar la fianza.
Okay, I have a family member that will pay the bond.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir. I understand that's all the Spanish cases that we have right now. Thank you, counsel, or thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, will the interpreter be needed for any of the victims, if there are any?
Don't know, but if we do, we'll give you.
She could just announce it, like, have her do an announcement.
Will they hear him in that room? Okay. If you can make an announcement, Madam Interpreter, if anyone else needs your services.
¿Alguna de las personas que se encuentran en la sala para hablar como víctima en alguno de los casos necesitan los servicios del intérprete al español?
And if they do, please have them raise their hands.
De ser así, por favor, levante la mano.
Okay, well, I'm seeing that I have one person who needs the services of an interpreter. So,
We could do them now.
we'll go ahead and do that one now. Do you know what case that's?
Oh, no, no.
Hang on, Ms. Bertani, we're trying to figure out what case it's for.
Yes.
The victim is for Ramirez. Where is he located? Where is it located? Was it felony misdemeanor? No, he just
We already
left.
did 'em.
Oh, we already did it?
State, what do you want to do?
Your Honor, if we could call him back, just so the victim has an opportunity to be heard.
Sure, that's fine. Let's go ahead and bring the witness in the box if we could. Ma'am, if you could you raise your right hand for me? And Madam Clerk's going to swear you in, okay?
Señora, por favor, levante la mano derecha para prestar juramento.
Do you swear from the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Jura y promete que el testimonio que va a prestar será la verdad, solamente la verdad y nada más que la verdad. ¿Lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
Please state
Yes.
your name for the record and spell your last name.
Por favor, diga su nombre para que conste en actas y deletree su apellido.
Araceli, C A S T L L O.
Araceli Castillo.
T-I Castillo, correcto.
Castillo.
Correcto.
Correct.
All right, ma'am, thank you. You can put your hand down.
Gracias, señora. ¿Puede bajar la mano?
back on case number 2021 MM2482, Leonel Ramirez Montejo. Sir, could you state your name again for the record, please?
Leonel Ramírez Montejo.
Ms. Berlin, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. What is your relationship with the defendant?
Buenos días, ¿qué relación tiene usted con el acusado?
Es mi esposo.
He is my husband.
And how long have you been married for?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan casados?
Desde el 2007.
Since 2007.
Is this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
¿Este fue un incidente aislado o algo parecido había ocurrido en el pasado?
Ya había sucedido esto anterior también.
It had already happened before.
Do you live with the defendant?
¿Usted vive con el acusado?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
¿Usted le teme?
¿No escuché bien la palabra?
I didn't quite hear the word.
Are you afraid of the defendant?
¿Usted le tiene miedo al acusado?
Cuando él está tomado, sí.
When he's drunk, yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Anything from,
No tengo más preguntas, su señoría.
anything from the Public Defender's Office?
No, Your Honor.
¿Algo más de parte de la oficina del abogado de oficio? No, su señoría.
The court is going to give a bond of $2,500. The accused is not to have any contact with the victim, Ms. Castillo. They're to maintain separate residences. He's not to return to the address located at 614 Shepherd Avenue. And he can have a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any personal effects.
Se fija fianza por la cantidad de $2,500. Se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con la víctima, la señora Castillo. Se le prohíbe la convivencia y se le prohíbe regresar a la casa localizada en el 614 Shepherd Avenue. Podrá regresar en una sola ocasión acompañado de las autoridades para recoger sus pertenencias.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
I believe that's all the interpreter cases that we have. Thank you very much, Ms. Britannia.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now moving to case number 21CF4168, Samuel Pellet Colon. All right, we will reset. Thank you. Case number 21CF4151, Sebastian Reyes. Sir, good morning. Could you please state your name for the record for me?
King of all kings, Sebastian Reyes.
All right, Mr. Reyes, we're here on 4 counts.
Excuse me, what's the paperwork you have? Did they take all my work out? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hang on, sir. I don't want you to say anything that could hurt your case, okay? All right, sir, the court's taking a look at your arrest affidavit. There's been 4 counts brought against you. Count 1, trafficking in heroin. Count 2, possession of hashish. Count 3, possession of drug paraphernalia. Count 4, driving while under the influence. Court finds that there is probable cause to each of those 4 counts. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. As to count 1, I'm going to give you a bond of $100,000. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $100. Count 4, $100. Thank you, sir. Yasel Cabrera, case number 21MM2441. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Hello, sir.
Sir, I need you to put your mask on if you could. Thank you. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, my name's Yasel.
What's your last name, Mr. Yasel?
Abreu Ramos.
All right, Mr. Abreu Ramos. We're here on account of resisting officer without violence. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case and give you a bond of $500, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. On case number 21CF4175, Carl Debbie.
Call Debbie.
Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Morning. Carl Dubai.
All right, Mr. Dubai, we're here on a sole charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. Oh, is there a witness here? Or what does he need?
Sorry.
That's okay. Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Not
very
right
good.
here.
All right. Sir, I do find that there is probable cause for the sole count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. We do have a witness here, so, sir, could you state your name for the record?
Michael Singh.
All right, sir. Madam Clerk's going to swear you in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Michael Singh. Singh, S-I-N-G-H.
Ms. Berlin, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. What is your relationship with this defendant?
My stepdad.
And how long have you known him for?
20 years.
And do you live with him?
Yes.
Was this an isolated incident or has this happened before?
No, this hasn't happened before.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
No.
Would you like to have contact with him during his, while his proceedings are ongoing?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything from you, Ms. Nixon?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, why is it that you desire to have contact with Mr. Devine?
Sorry?
Why is it that you desire to have contact with Mr. Devine?
We live together, and also my mother is an outpatient surgery, so we're both her caretakers through her doctors. And we also have a business together, business partners.
Okay. Sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release Mr. Devine on pretrial release because he qualifies. He's not going to need a bond. But for the time being, I'm not going to allow any contact between himself and yourself. You are to maintain separate residences. He can always file a motion with the court and change that, and that can happen in 14 days, okay?
Okay, so I have to file a motion?
His attorney will do that in his criminal case,
Okay.
okay?
All right, so for now, we live at the same residence, so what happens?
He's going to have to find a separate residence, sir,
Okay.
okay?
Your Honor, could we ask for a one-time return with law enforcement?
I don't have a problem with that.
Sorry, a one-time what? What's
He'll
that?
be able to go back with law enforcement to pick up any of his personal stuff, sir,
Okay,
okay? All right, thank you very much, sir.
thank you.
Audric Foster, case number 21CF4184. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Todrick Foster.
All right, Mr. Foster, we're here on two counts. Count one is false imprisonment, and count two is battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are to have no contact with the victim, Tamara Johnson. You're to maintain separate residences. You're not to return to the residence located at 3958 Rosewood. Huh? Oh. Hi, I'm sorry I didn't see you there, ma'am. I apologize. Could you raise your right hand? Madam Clerk's going to swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record, spell your last name.
Tamara Johnson, Johnsson.
Thank you, ma'am. Counsel?
Good morning. What is your relationship with this defendant?
That's my boyfriend.
And how long have you known him for?
8+ years, but we've been together for 3 years.
Okay. Do you reside with him?
Yes, we live together.
And has anything like this happened before?
No.
So this is an isolated incident?
Yes.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
No.
Do you want to have contact with this defendant?
I would like to.
Why is that?
Because nothing like this ever happened, and it was just in the heat of an angry moment.
Do you share any children together?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Dixon?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ma'am, if the court was inclined to, what is it that you want this court to do today?
Well, out of anger, I did want him to be evicted, but since he doesn't really have a place to go, he can stay at the apartment while I go back with my mom.
Okay, all right. Do you want contact between the two of you?
That'll be fine since we got to take care of the bills.
Okay. Here's what the court's gonna do. Court's gonna release Mr. Foster through pretrial release, but he's to have no hostile contact with Ms. Johnson, maintain a separate residences. He'll be able to go back to that apartment, and the witness, Ms. Johnson, can go live with her mother. Okay? All right, thank you all very much. Thank you, ma'am. Case number 21CF4167, Zaquan Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me, please?
Zaquan Hamilton.
All right, Mr. Hamilton, we're here on a sole count of aggravated battery.
Yes, sir.
Finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for PTR, so you will be released today with the following conditions. You are to have no contact with the victim, Shelby Lamone, and you are to maintain a separate residence from her, sir. Hang on, she's here now, I think. Ma'am?
I don't think that's the right person. It looks like his twin, but it's like.
All right, hang on. Okay, so we don't have a witness today. Okay. So, sir, you can't have any contact with Shelby Lennon, and you are to maintain separate residences. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Case number 21CF4161, Abigail Lugo. Morning, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Abigail Lugo.
All right, Ms. Lugo. We're here on a sole charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You do qualify for pretrial release, so you are going to be released today, but I'm going to give you a couple conditions. You're to have no contact with the victim, Elijah King, in this case. You're going to maintain separate residences. You are not to return to the residence located at 5249 Signal Hill Road. And I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your stuff, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Case number 21CF4165, Michael Lugo.
Yes, sir.
Sir, could you state your full name for the record for me? All right, sir. We're here on a sole count of aggravated assault.
Yes, sir.
Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. And I see we do have a witness here. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk's going to swear you in, okay?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Israel Soto.
Spell your last name, please.
SOTO.
Thank you.
Counsel, you can inquire.
Good morning. What is your relationship with this defendant?
I'm sorry.
What is your relationship with this defendant?
I'm his father.
You're his father?
Yes.
And do you live with this defendant?
He lives on the same property.
Okay, so do you come into contact with him daily?
Yes.
Okay. Are you afraid of this defendant?
No.
Was this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
Isolated incident.
Do you want to have contact with this defendant?
Yes.
Why is that?
He's my son.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Nixon, anything from you?
No questions, Your Honor.
Sir, what would you like this court to do today?
Pardon me?
What would you like me to do today, sir?
Dismiss the charges. I'd appreciate it.
I wish I could do that, sir, but I can't do that today. But with regard to contact with your son, what is it that you'd like me to do?
He can contact me. He could stay with us.
All right, here's
There's no
what the court's going
problem.
to do. I'm going to give a bond of $2,000 in this case. There will be no hostile contact between Mr. Lugo and Mr. Soto, and Mr. Lugo cannot possess any weapons or firearms. Okay. Thank you, sir. Case number 21CF4181, Samuel Sandoval Sanchez. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Interpreter.
Sir, say again, sir?
I need interpreter.
He's an interpreter.
He's an interpreter.
Okay.
What type of interpreter does he need? Okay, no worries.
Sorry, sir.
That's okay. We got it.
And then leave. Private left.
Hello, Cisco Unity connection.
So the interpreter cases are done for the day. We're gonna have to reset you for tomorrow.
Oh, that's in English is fine.
Lo siento mucho. Mi español es un poquito, es muy mal. No interpreter.
No, but the English is good. Don't worry. I'm gonna speak a little English. That's fine.
Counsel, what do you want to do?
We'd like to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Sir, we're here on 2 counts. Count 1 is battery by strangulation, and count 2 is aggravated battery with a weapon. Court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to give you a bond as to count 1 at $5,000, count 2, $2,000. You're to have no contact with the victim.
I think they have.
Huh?
I don't know.
Do we have a witness or not?
Is there a victim? Yes.
Can we just be, can I be, no, can somebody tell me if we're going to have a victim beforehand?
No, we don't know. I'm
Gracious.
looking at the door. Please raise your right hand so you can be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Glorybell, Garza.
Ms. Berlin, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. What is your relationship with this defendant?
He's my boyfriend.
How long have you known him for?
4 months.
Do you live with him?
Yes.
Now, is this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
Isolated incident.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Do you have any children together?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Nixon?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, in looking at the allegations in the arrest affidavit, I am concerned for your safety and what took place just yesterday. So at this point in time, I'm not going to allow any contact between yourself and Mr. Sandoval Sanchez. You are to maintain separate residences. He's not to return to the residence at 4101 Equity Row, number 231. He could go back one time with law enforcement. I'm giving a bond as to count 1, domestic battery by strangulation at $5,000, and count 2, aggravated battery with a weapon at $2,000, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
By case number 21MM2462, Junior Bastien.
No. They switched some. They switched.
Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Junior Bastien.
All right, Mr. Bastien, we're here on a sole count of battery dating violence. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Before we talk about a bond, I see we have a witness here.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Rebecca Wright, Wright.
Ms. Berlin, any questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. What is your relationship with this defendant?
He's my boyfriend.
How long have you known him for?
2 years.
Do you reside with him?
No.
Was this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
Isolated.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him during his court proceedings?
Yes.
Do you have any children together?
Yes.
Was the child present during this incident?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Nixon?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ma'am, the court's reviewed the arrest affidavit provided by law enforcement, and I am a little concerned for your safety. There's allegations of being punched in the face with a closed fist on both sides, and the entire time you were trying to shield your 6-month-old from being harmed. So at this point in time, I'm not going to allow any contact or communication between yourself and Mr. Bastien, and I'm going to require that you to have separate residences. He is going to be released on pretrial release. He's not going to have to post a bond. The terms of what I've said today can be changed. His attorney can file a motion to change that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Oh, wait, there's 2 cases? There are 2 cases. Hang on. All right, sir, your second case, case number 21CF4185. It's a sole charge of tampering with a witness or hindering communication with law enforcement. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Sorry, excuse me. I have another charge?
Yes, sir, there's 2 charges.
From Fort Orlando?
Yes, sir, it's from the same circumstances.
Why? What did I do?
There's an allegation, sir, that you prevented a phone call being made by Ms. Wright to law enforcement. Based on those allegations, there's probable cause for tampering with a witness and hindering communication with law enforcement. I'm going to appoint the PD to represent you, the public defender. You will be released with pretrial release. I'm not going to give you a bond. We are to have no contact until further order of the court with Ms. Wright.
Is this charge a felony charge too? This says it's a felony charge?
Yes, sir. Second charge is the felony charge. Thank you, sir. Case number 21MM2476, Roger Curry. Sir, could you state your full name for the record for me?
Roger Curry, Jr.
Mr. Curry, we're here on a sole charge of battery domestic violence. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit, finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, but before we talk about a bond, I see we've got a witness here.
Please raise your right hand, please. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Jessica Sweat, SWEAT.
Counsel, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, counsel.
What is your relationship with this defendant?
He's my boyfriend.
How long have you known him for?
2.5 years.
Do you live with him?
I do not.
Was this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
Nothing has ever happened like this before.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
Not at all.
Do you want to have contact with him during his court proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any children together?
We do not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ma'am, why is it that you'd like to have communication and contact with Mr. Curry?
Because I'm getting a house built and moving into soon, and he's the breadwinner of the family. I'm not working right now. I'm not afraid of him. I need him in my life, actually. I have 2 kids. We don't have 2 kids together, and my 2 kids depend on him.
Ms. Nixon, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, would you, okay. Here's what the court's going to require. I'm going to give Mr. Curry a bond of $2,500. There to be no hostile contact between yourself and Mr. Curry. You were to maintain separate residences, and he's not to return to the residence located at 606 Lee Road, number 250.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Patrick Williams Evans. Case number 21MM2471. Patrick Evans. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record?
Patrick William Evans.
All right, Mr. Evans, we're here on a sole count of battery domestic violence. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit and finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this action. I'm going to release you on pretrial release because you qualify for it, but you're not to have any communication with the victim in this case. You are not to return to the address located at 1349 St. Nicholas Avenue, and you're to maintain separate residences. You've got a second case with us, sir, as well, case number 21-2021-MM2472. It's providing false ID to law enforcement. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. You're going to appoint the public defender to represent you in that case, and you'll be released on PTR in that one as well, sir.
Your Honor, may we have a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any personal effects?
Any objection, Ms. Berlin?
No objection, Your Honor.
That's fine. We'll do that as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I will be released on pretrial?
Yes, sir. Subject to conditions we just talked about. All right. Thank you, sir. Case number 21-MM210, Timothy Fielding.
Yes, sir.
Come on up, sir. State your full name for the record for me.
Timothy Reeves Fielding.
All right, Mr. Fielding. We're here on a sole count of battery. Court does find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are maintain separate residences. You're not to return to the address located at 6317 Sherrill Street. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to get any of your personal items, and you will be released on PTR today, pretrial release, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Lloyd Frith. Good morning, sir. Could you state your name for the record for me?
My name is Ricardo Fritz, Lloyd Fritz.
Mr. Frith, we're here on case number 21-MM2481 on a sole charge of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case, sir. I'm going to give you a bond of $2,500. You're not to have any contact or communication with the victim in this case, Xiomara Gonzalez, and you are to maintain separate residence and not return to the residence located, or not, oh, I'm sorry, scratch that. Hang on. You are not to return to the residence located at 13716 Lagoon Isle Way, number 202. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to get any of your stuff. All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
Case number 21-MM2487, Alicia Jenkins. Ma'am, could you state your name for the record for me?
Alicia Jenkins.
All right, Ms. Jenkins. We're here on a charge of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, so you will be released today with the following conditions. You are to not have any contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain separate residences. You are not to return to the address of 4561 King Cole Boulevard. And I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to get any of your stuff.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Francisco Marquez. Case number 21-MM2488. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Francisco Marquez.
All right, Mr. Marquez, we're here on a sole count of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. I'm going to give you a bond of $2,500. You're to have no contact with the victim, your girlfriend Dana. You are not to return to the address located at 303 15th Avenue. You are to maintain separate residences, and I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your stuff. Thank you, sir. Case number 21-MM2483, Jolene Michelle.
Yes.
Move over a little bit to that microphone, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Jolie Michelle.
All right, Miss Michelle, we're here on a sole count of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, so I am going to release you today, but I'm not allowing you to have any contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from the victim. You're not to return to the address of 5913 Bent Pine Drive, and I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to get any of your stuff.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Johnny Mitchell. number 2021MM2464. Sir, good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record for me, please?
Johnny Mitchell.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, we're here on a sole count of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. I'm going to give you a bond of $3,000. You're to have no contact with the victim. You're to maintain separate residences. You're not to return to the residence located at 7209 South Orange Blossom Trail. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your effects. The court's not going to take any action on the bond that's been issued in case number 21CF3858. Thank you, sir. George O'Connell?
Yes, sir.
Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
George O'Connell.
All right, Mr. O'Connell, we're here on case number 21MM2474 on a sole count of battery domestic violence. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit, and there is probable cause for that charge. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Before we talk about a bond or terms of release, we have a witness here.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Teresa Powers, Powers.
Ms. Berlin, do you have any questions for Ms. Powers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
What is your relationship with this defendant?
It's my fiance.
How long have you known each other?
12 years.
Do you live with him?
Yes.
How, was this an isolated incident or?
It was. We're here on vacation.
Okay, where are you from?
We're from West Virginia. We are to be boarding our plane at 5:20 tomorrow morning.
Okay, and how long have you been here for?
We got here Friday morning early.
And has the rest of your vacation been okay?
It was. We had a verbal argument in the hotel and the security called the police.
Are you afraid of this defendant?
No, I'm not.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, I'm hoping that we get to go home in the morning.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Nixon, any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ma'am, what is it you'd like this court to do today?
I would like definitely to have him come home with me and drop this. It was a verbal argument and the hotel called the police. So I apologize for that.
You don't need to apologize, ma'am. That's okay. I can't drop the charges today. I don't have the ability to do that. Bless you. But would you feel safe if the court was to allow no hostile contact between the two of y'all?
Yes, we have never had any issues prior to this, sir. So I just believe that it just became an argument and they were concerned about it and it led to this, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. The court is going, Mr. O'Connell does qualify for pretrial release, so he's going to be released today without a bond.
Okay.
Order no hostile contact between the two of y'all.
Okay.
Okay?
Can you also provide permission for Mr. O'Connor to return back to his hometown?
Ms. Berlin?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
grant that permission for him to get on his flight tomorrow. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Case number 21MM2475, Lee Perry.
Your Honor, I do have a probable cause challenge for this case.
Okay. Mr. Perry, could you just state your full name for the record, please?
Lee Perry.
All right, thank you, Mr. Perry. Counsel, go ahead and proceed on your probable cause argument.
There's nothing in the arrest affidavit, Your Honor, that suggests that the touching was intentional.
Ms. Berlin?
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Certainly, counsel.
Your Honor, if I could call the victim as she's present.
Sure. Ma'am, we're going to swear you in, okay?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Jennifer Lopez, Lopez.
Ms. Berlin, you can inquire.
What is your relationship with this defendant?
He is my fiance, my baby's father.
How long have you known him for?
2 years.
Was this an isolated incident or has something like this happened before?
Never happened before.
And during this incident, do you believe that the defendant had intentionally hit you?
No, ma'am.
Can you explain what happened?
Okay, so we was leaving a grocery store and he was trying to help me get my baby home due to the storm. We were walking and I startled him. And he has previous experiences of getting robbed. So when I startled him, he didn't really push me or anything. Like I tripped and no further discussion was made. We just continued home and that's it.
So were you walking together or you were behind him?
Yes, no, at first he was just with my baby, and I was behind him. But I ran up to him and tapped him on the shoulder. I was calling him, but he had headphones in on high blast, so he couldn't hear me. So I ran up to him and I tapped him on the shoulder.
But had you been together during that whole time that he knew that you were behind him?
I'm sorry?
Had you been together during that period of time to where he knew that you were behind him?
No, he didn't know I was behind him. I was running to catch up to him.
Okay, but you were together.
In the public store, yes.
Okay, so he knew that you were going to be catching up to him at some point.
Yes, I told him I was gonna call him, but my phone had went dead, so I just ran up to him.
Okay. And did you fall to the ground when he hit you?
No, I tripped after that.
You tripped afterward?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No questions from defense, Your Honor.
Okay. What's your argument, counsel, as to intent?
Your Honor, based off of the call, it did say that this defendant hit the victim in the face and that she did fall to the ground. I understand the victim's testimony, but I believe that the nature of the call would give intent to that, or would give probable cause that there was intent to hitting this defendant. It seemed as if it was argumentative, and I do believe that it meets the standard for probable cause.
Ms. Nixon?
Your Honor, I don't believe the 911 call describes anything other than what is described by the alleged victim in this case, as far as there was a touching and that she fell, which is what she states, but nothing that indicates that it was intentional.
The 911 call says that there was a hitting of a Hispanic female in the face.
Yes, but nothing that indicates that it would be intentional besides what the victim has described happened.
Here's what the court's going to do. The court's going to deny your probable cause challenge. I do find it's close, but I think it's enough based on the low standard that is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender. I'm not going to give a bond, I'm going to give a bond of $500 in this case, and I'm going to allow no hostile communication between yourself and the victim, sir. Okay, that means you can't get angry, can't yell, can't scream, but you all are going to be able to live together and talk with each other, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Huh? Oh, wait. Hang on. Bring it back. I'm sorry. We got two other cases we got to talk about with you, Mr. Perry. I apologize. Second case, sir, we got an out-of-county warrant for you out of Seminole County. I do find that there's probable cause for that warrant. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. Under the administrative order, because Seminole County is a contiguous county here in Orange, they got 24 hours to pick you up, not including weekends and holidays.
Yes, sir.
So if Seminole County doesn't come pick you up tomorrow, or you do not pay the $5,000 bond, you'll be brought before a judge on Tuesday, okay?
Yes, sir.
Your third case, sir. It's another Seminole County, out-of-county warrant, so it's the same deal. There's, you have two.
Charges? This is the duplicate.
It's a different warrant. There's two different warrants. Yeah. Yes, sir, there's two different warrants out of Seminole County. This one's for $5,000 as well. So you could post the bond or
I have two $5,000 warrants?
that's what I'm looking at, sir.
You sure? Because I only had one, sir. That's what I'm saying.
Double check, because I got 3 packages here. No, it's the same. Somebody just copied it. So you've only got one, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
You have a blessed one, sir.
Thanks, sir. Case number 21MM2478, Tyrone Scott.
Tyrone Scott is medical, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We'll reset Mr. Scott for tomorrow. Case number 21MM2465, Eliger Silva. Come on up, ma'am. You state your name for the record for me.
Eliger Silva.
All right, Miss Silva. We're here on 2 counts. Count 1, battery, domestic violence, and count 2, battery. The court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release. You're going to be able to be released today, but I'm going to give you a couple conditions. You're not to have any contact or communication with the victims in this case. You are not to return to the residence at 2815 Arc Drive. You're to maintain separate residences, and I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your stuff. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Case number 21MM2469, Destiny Valiero. Ma'am, could you state your name for the record?
Destiny Valerio.
Miss Valerio, we're here on a sole count of battery. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you today, but I'm going to give you a couple conditions you got to follow. You're not to have any contact with the victim in this case. You're to maintain a separate residence from the victim. You're not to return to the residence located at 7715 Prado Avenue. And I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement.
Can I say something?
Talk to your attorney first.
Your Honor, the residence is the defendant's house.
We're both on the lease and the bills, but like he has somewhere to go. All my family lives in Jersey.
Okay.
Ms. Berlin?
Your Honor, I don't know if that matters. I mean, the victim can, does the victim have anywhere to go?
I don't. My family lives in Jersey. He
Um,
does. His family lives here in Winter Park. I just need to. I'm just gonna stay there until the 15th if I could, but if not, then that's when I leave.
Your Honor,
Hang on.
I would just say to maintain separate residences, but I guess the no return to residence, if it's for residence, then.
Okay, all right, fine. So we'll just modify it, so no contact and separate residences. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I know that she said that she was going to Jersey or whatever.
Yep.
She didn't display that when doing the interview. So I don't know if you want to give her permission to leave. She didn't. We have Orlando.
7715 is our Orlando address. Yes, that's the house that we live in.
Wait, you said we.
Yeah, that's me and him. So that's,
Okay.
She currently lives in an apartment in Orlando.
no, we live in a house.
In a house,
We both
sorry.
live in a house.
In a house with the alleged victim currently. That's the current residence they both live at. And then on the 15th, she'll be going
Go
back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right, but, okay, no, hang on, I'm confused. Because
I am confused as well.
I thought what you said was you live there, that was yours. Now you're telling me the two of you
They're-
all live there together.
They're currently on the lease, Your Honor.
Both of us.
Both of them.
And I have bills there as well. I have Duke Energy, like, under my name.
If we could, Your Honor, keep it at that she can return to the residence as long as they maintain separate residence, since it appears the victim does have somewhere else to go until she.
He has his own side of the house, and I have my own side of the house. I have a loft. We have two different entrances. I mean,
Ms. Berlin?
One moment, Your Honor. Sure. I have no problem with that, Your Honor. No objection.
maintain separate residences in the sense that you can't be near each other in the same abode. And there's no contact or communication between you and the victim. I'm not going to take anything on whether or not she's allowed to go back to Jersey because it wasn't disclosed.
You said what?
You said that you're leaving on the 15th. Where are you leaving to?
I could either go to New Jersey or just wait until my mom comes back to Florida. So my mom.
Counselor, you're going to have to file a motion on that one
Okay, Your Honor.
because that wasn't disclosed prior to based on what court staff's telling me.
So what are the conditions?
So the conditions are, they are to maintain separate residences within the residence. They can't be anywhere near each other in the residence, and no communication, no contact between the two of them. State, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, case number 21MM2473, Malik Wade. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Malik Wade, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Wade, we're here on a sole count of battery domestic violence. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to let you get out today, but a couple conditions. You're not allowed to have any contact or communication with the victim.
Yes, sir.
You're not to maintain to the address of 6731 Giant Oak Lane, number 223.
sir.
You maintain separate residences from the victim.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your stuff, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Willie Anderson?
Willie Anderson is in the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll accept that one, thank you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Willie Anderson was in the hospital, bless you.
Hospital, thank you.
Nazwood Barzi?
You don't have to on live down.
Inmate 21008577. I'm sorry, 21008577.
That's a Barzi?
Yes. Bonded? All right, thank you. Gino Biblioni? Thank you, sir. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Gino Bibiloni.
All right, Mr. Biblioni, we're here on case number 21CF4173 on 4 counts. Count 1, kidnapping. Count 2, tampering with a witness to hinder communication with law enforcement. Count 3, battery. Count 4, criminal mischief. Court finds that there is probable cause for each of those 4 counts. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you as to count 1. I'm not going to give you a bond as it's a life felony. Count 2, give you a bond of $1,000. Count 3, give you a bond of $2,500. Count 4, give you a bond of $500. And you're not to have any contact with the victim, Veronica Roman Quevedo.
Okay. Does that mean I'm able to bond out and leave, or
No, sir. Because kidnapping is a life felony, I'm not giving you a bond.
I'm innocent?
I don't want you to say anything that's going to hurt you today, sir. Your lawyer can file a motion and have it heard in 14 days to change what I've ordered today, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger Goodman? Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Roger Goodman, 9/19/1990.
All right, thank you, sir. Case number 21CF4171, sir, we're on here for 2 counts. Count 1, possession of methamphetamine. Count 2, resisting an officer without violence. Court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, give you a bond as to count 1 at $1,500, count 2 a bond of $100. I'm not going to take any action on your other case, case number 2021CF2499. Thank you, sir.
I'll refuse, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We'll reset Mr. Hall. Jeremiah Johnson?
Sir.
All right, sir, could you state your full name for the record for me, please? All right, Mr. Johnson, we're here on case number 21CF4166 on a sole charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. You're going to appoint the public defender to represent you and give you a bond of $1,500, and you're not to have any contact with the victim, Markseni Sevim, in this case, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Martin, refuse, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Martin, case number 21MM587 for tomorrow. Case number 21CF4065, Tamara Ortiz.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record for me?
Tamara Lynette Ortiz.
All right, ma'am, we're here on two different cases. First one's case number 2021CF4065. There was a warrant that was issued for your arrest for possession of methamphetamines. So probable cause has already been determined. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you in that case and give you a bond of $1,000. Your second case is case number 2021CF4159 on a charge of possession of cocaine. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you and give you a bond of $1,000 in that case as well, ma'am. Thank you. Case number 21CF4190, Duran Randolph. Duran Randolph, 2100-8583. Okay, thank you. Darlene Romero?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Darlene Andrea Romero.
All right, ma'am. We're here on a sole charge of petty theft. Court finds that there is probable cause as a result of the issuance of a capias. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, give you a bond at $1,000, not to have any contact with the victim in this case, and you're not to return to hang on a second, the address at 105 Brightwater Circle, and I'm not going to take action on either of your other cases. All right, thank you, ma'am. Case number 21CF4158, Jorge Ruiz Ramirez. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Jorge Ruiz Ramirez.
All right, Mr. Ruiz Ramirez, we're here on a sole count of grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle. Find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, and give you a bond of $1,000. Thank you.
Yeah, another case, Judge.
He does? I don't have any of that.
No, we don't have that. No.
No.
You talking Ramirez, right?
Jorge Ruiz Ramirez.
Yes. Hold on one second, Judge.
Oh, no worries.
What happened with Martin?
You refused.
Yes, he has a charge of, it's 2020 CL 1256280, and he has two charges: possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia.
Court's not going to take any action. Thank you.
I don't have the case number. I don't know. What happened? I don't have no paperwork.
Can you give me the other case number again for the clerk?
It's 2020 CL 1256280.
I'm not going to take any action on that. Senator Scott? Sir. Come on up, sir. State your full name for the record for me.
My name is Senator Scott.
All right, sir. We're here on case number 21CF4153 on a sole count of battery on a law enforcement officer. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to give you a bond of $5,000, sir. Okay. Reset, Mr. Soto. Tanae Veal? Ma'am, could you state your name for the record for me? All right, Ms. Veal, we're here on two cases. First one's case number 21CF4177 on a sole count of battery on a law enforcement officer. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you today. You're just not allowed to have any contact or communication with the co-defendant, Calvin Wilson. As to your second case, ma'am, case number 2021CF4179, it's another charge of battery on a law enforcement officer. I do find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You will be released through pretrial release, and you're to have no contact or communication with the co-defendant, Calvin Wilson. Thank you, ma'am. Calvin Wilson?
We bonded out, Your Honor.
All right. Thomas Brady? Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Brady.
Brady Thomas, I apologize. State your name, sir.
Brady Thomas Jr.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, flip-flop your name there. Case number 21MO65 on a failure to appear. Sir, a capias was issued for your failure to appear. Court finds that there is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to the extent they've not already been appointed to represent you. You do have a bond of $1,000. Court's going to give you a bond of $1,000 to get out.
Okay, could I say I did not have a public offender with me
All right.
to work with my case. I would just like to say that the case.
Hang on, sir. Hang on. Wait. I don't want you to say anything. All right, thank you, sir. Maria Fernandez Perez.
You don't have that name on our docket.
Inmate number 21008582.
On it.
All right, thank you. Maddie Ford.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record for me? All right, case number 21CT2716. Ma'am, we're here on a sole charge of DUI with property damage. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit, finds that there is probable cause for the charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are subject to a PTR, so you're going to be released today. Okay, ma'am? All right, thank you. Huh?
Do you have any conditions?
No consumption of any alcohol. Thank you. Elizabeth Hicks?
Yes, sir.
Come on up, ma'am. State your full name for the record for me.
My name is Elizabeth Hicks.
All right, ma'am. We're here on case number 21CT1893. A capias was issued for your failure to appear. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to the extent they haven't already been appointed. The capias gave you a bond of $2,000, so I'm going to stay the bond at $2,000, and I'm not going to take any action on your other case, 20CF13413.
Your Honor, she is not appointed the public defender's office for the underlying charge.
She is not.
No.
Okay.
Could we appoint the public defender's office?
Sure.
Sir, please.
That's fine. I'll appoint the public defender.
Oh, I could bond out?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Carlos Levano? Sir, state your name for the record for me.
Carlos Lavano.
All right, Mr. Levano, we're here on case number 21CT2720 on a sole charge of driving while under the influence. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to give you a bond of $500, and I'm not going to take any action on your other case, case number 21MM563. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jonathan Nillian?
Jonathan Million Bond, Your Honor.
Thank you. Duncan Bonilla? Come on up, sir. Can you state your name for the record for me?
Yeah.
Mr. Bonilla, we're here on case number 21MM2477 on a sole charge of providing false ID to law enforcement. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, give you a bond of $500, sir.
There is an offer in Mr. Bonilla's case of adjudication of guilt and court costs.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Beat me to it, Ms. Berlin.
Mr. Bonilla would like to take the offer of adjudication of guilt and court costs.
Sir, do you understand that you're knowingly, intelligently, willfully entering into this agreement?
Sir.
All right. Sir, by entering into this agreement, you have to abide by the terms of this agreement. If you fail to abide by the terms of this agreement, the original prosecution may be brought against you, and you may be, if convicted, you may suffer all the consequences and imprisonment that may come from that original conviction, okay? You have 30 days to file an appeal from today, and it has to be in writing. You understand all that, sir?
Sir.
All right, thank you very much. Court will accept the offer by the state for adjudication, withhold, and payment of court costs. What are the court costs? Do you know what the total is?
They're usually around 300.
323? Okay, all right, thank you very much, sir. You'll have 1 year from today to pay all those court costs.
You guys.
Thank you, sir. All right, case number 21MM2485, Jason King.
Your Honor, there is an offer in this case of a level 1 drug diversion, and Mr. King does have access to the internet.
Ms. Berlin, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor, we could just ROR him.
Okay, all right, fine, we'll do that. We're ROM subject to what Ms. Nixon and Ms. Berlin have agreed to. Reducing it to a level 1 and watching what he needs to watch online. Case number 21MM2470, Richard Lapointe.
Yeah, I'll do that. I won't want any money.
There is an offer in Mr. Lapointe's case of an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and no return to the scene.
Ms. Berlin, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, are you willing to accept the offer from the state?
Yes.
Are you willfully, knowingly, and intelligently accepting that offer?
Yes.
All right, sir. What that means is that there's going to be an adjudication withheld. You're not going to be found guilty. You just have to pay the court costs. It's going to be about $323. You'll have 1 year to pay those, and you're not to return to the property of the Wawa located at 5810 Raleigh Street. Okay, sir? If you want to appeal today's decision, you'll have 30 days to do it from today. It has to be done in writing. Okay? All right, thank you, sir. Best of luck to you.
You said adjudication is withheld?
Yeah. It's adjudication withheld, payment of court costs, correct?
Adjudication of guilt.
Oh, adjudication of guilt. All right, thank you. Jean-Michel?
Yes, sir.
Sir, come on up. State your full name for the record for me.
Jean-Louis Michel.
All right, Mr. Michel, we're here on case number 21MM2480 on a sole count of trespassing. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you, give you a bond of $500, and you're not to return to the address of 1036 West Robinson Street, Unit 8. And I'm not going to take any action on his other case, case number 2020 CF 5904.
There is an offer in his case, Your Honor, of an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and no return to the scene.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Say court costs, no, don't go back.
Yeah. We will not be taking that offer at this moment, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Then court's oral pronouncement as the bond stays the same. Thank you. Case number 21MM209, James Nettles. Sir, could you state your name for the record, please?
James Kenneth Nettles.
All right, Mr. Nettles, we're here on 2 counts. Count 1, disorderly conduct. Count 2, resisting an officer without violence. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit and finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. As to count 1, disorderly conduct, I'm going to give you a bond of $100. Count 2, resisting officer without violence, I'm going to give you a bond of $500, sir.
Your Honor, there is an offer in his case of an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and no return to the scene, and I believe Ms. Nettles would like to take that offer today.
Ms. Berlin, is that an accurate portrayal of the offer?
That's correct on both counts.
Get all right now.
Thank you.
Because I don't.
All right. Sir, are you knowingly, willingly, and intentionally accepting the offer from the state?
Yes,
All right, sir, it's an adjudication of guilt, correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, by accepting, you'll be adjudicated guilty of count 1, disorderly conduct, and count 2, resisting an officer without violence. You'll have 1 year from today to pay any of the court costs that are associated with this. You'll have 30 days from today to file an appeal within writing if you disagree, okay? All right, thank you very much, sir. Best of luck to you. Case number 21MM2468, Brian Simpson. Sir, could you state your full name for the record for me?
Brian Jason Simpson.
All right, Mr. Simpson, thank you. Counsel, is there an offer on the table on this one?
Yes, the state has given an offer of an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and no return to the scene.
All right, sir, it's a sole charge of trespass. Ms. Berlin, well, she's having that conversation. That is an accurate portrayal of the offer, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Simpson would like to take that offer no contest today.
Okay, sir, are you willingly, knowingly, and intelligently accepting the offer from the state?
Yes.
All right, sir, that means you'll be adjudicated guilty on the sole count of trespass. You'll have 1 year from today to pay any of the court costs associated with this case. If you disagree with the court's decision today, you have 30 days to file an appeal. It has to be in writing. Okay?
Let's do it.
All right, thank you, sir. Best of luck to you.
And that-
Juan De Leon?
That's all the pleables, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much, counsel. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Juan Manuel de Leon.
All right, Mr. De Leon, we're here on case number 21 CF4135 and 2 counts. Count 1 is a battery, felony battery, and count 2 is aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Court finds that there is probable cause for both of those charges. You're going to appoint a public defender to represent you. We give you a bond of $2,500 is to count 1 and $2,500 is to count 2. Thank you, sir. Noah Jones.
He's not coming.
Okay, we'll reset. James Moore? Okay, reset Mr. Moore as well. Cassandra Slade? We'll reset all of her actions for tomorrow. Ferdinand Wilhelmer? Wilkember. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Wilkember Fernand.
Mr. Fernand, I apologize. Sir, we're here on a sole count of disorderly conduct. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit, finds that there is probable cause for that charge, and appoint the public defender to represent you. Give you a bond of $250. Court's not going to take any action on your other case, case number 2018 CT359. Thank you, sir. Keith Revere?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you come on up, state your full name for the record for me?
Chief Leonard Revere, sir.
Mr. Revere, we're here on case number 21MM2489 on a sole count of violation of county ordinance. Court finds that there is probable cause for that charge. Hang on, sir. Is there an offer?
There is, Your Honor.
All right.
Offer in this case is a withhold credit time served and court costs.
Okay.
All right, and he would like to take that offer, Your Honor.
All right, sir, are you knowingly, willingly, and intelligently accepting the offer from the state of a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served in the jail, and the payment of court costs?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, you'll have 1 year from today to pay any of the court costs associated with this case. Court accepts your plea. If you have any disagreements with the court's findings today, you have 30 days from today to file an appeal, and it has to be in writing, sir, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, wish the best of luck to you, sir. Thank you.
You too, sir.
Huh? I'm not taking any action on his other case. No. On case number 2020 MM 7708.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, no.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I believe that's everything we've got today. All right, thank you all very much. We're off the record.